What's going on, legend, and welcome to this tutorial video around all things Fitbit mastery. Now, obviously with you being in this game, you're probably now already caught on with the fact as to why having a Fitbit or some sort of heart rate monitor based device is going to be effective for you in terms of nailing the different aspects of energy and exercise and stuff like that, and overall health biomarkers when it comes to nailing this alpha journey. I'm someone who only got on the Fitbit wagon last year in terms of 2018, and holy shit, has it given me awesome insights in terms of data that I never thought of, and just ways for me to manipulate my body composition and how I look, feel and function so much more better than, well, obviously what I was doing prior in terms of the data that I gave a shit about. So yeah, like in terms of whether you have a this is a Fitbit Versa. This is something I've had for a while now. I started my Fitbit journey with a Charge 2, which is something that if you're obviously Team Fitbit, I'd suggest that you have that higher, so that way you're making sure that it's tracking the main things that we actually want. But if you don't have a Fitbit and you have like a Garmin or an Apple Watch or fucking whatever, right? As long as it tracks the things that we're going to be covering in this video here, we'll understand that is totally fine, and you're going to be able to continue the usage of it. Now we're going to be breaking down here in terms of like the mastery of using your Fitbit, right? I'm not going to be going into like how to, like which buttons to fucking press to view this, like that's something that you can actually be going onto the Fitbit tutorial site itself in terms of fitbit.com.au or whatever, or looking on YouTube. I'm not going to be doing that because I can't fucking screen record my Fitbit, right? Like it's too much mucking around. But what I will be going over in terms of yeah, this video just here you're going to be seeing, I'm going to be linking it to my actual iPhone app, so that way you can actually see me in real time showing you the things that matter, so that way when it comes to Progress Sunday and the various aspects of you supplying me data, it means that I'm going to be able to make sure that you're supplying me what I need to see. It means that, well, yeah, we can see the data that we want to, and then from my end, in terms of me being your coach and the rudder to your ship, I can most accurately make sure that I'm getting you to eat how much I want you to eat, and prescribe certain cardio regimes, etc., to make sure that we are winning the game that is energy balance, and obviously you, well, getting leaner while being able to eat heaps of food. So gonna fire up my lovely screen recording now, so that way we can get into the Fitbit good times. So welcome to the display screen of Fitbit. So this is what it will look like on your actual application. Whenever you open this up, be aware that it will sync, all right? And obviously what this then does is it updates whatever data is on your actual device relevant to what hasn't yet been stored in the actual application itself. So be aware that this is something that you can actually pimp out in terms of the display screen. Naturally what I've got here is the things that I give a shit about most. So naturally the exercise, the sleep, it shows my resting beat in terms of my heart rate, which is sick. It shows, well, this is something that's pretty cool as well, to getting you to be used to moving every hour or whatever. You can see here active hours, me. I'm a little bit all over the shop because naturally depending on my day will determine how often I'm sitting, and I just get so stuck in the zone that I forget to get up, but still hit my steps anyway, so you know, that's what matters. Now there's a few key things that you're going to be focusing on in terms of like data to send me. So when you do a workout, for example, right, what's going to happen is that if you are pressing the right buttons on your actual Fitbit properly, you can actually track your complete workout. So when you send me your workout log, if you're tracking your workout, you can send me this as well, because what this shows, you'll see, is that it shows the overall calories that have been burned for the session. It shows how long the session actually took. It shows your average beats per minute, and it also shows your maximum heart rate, which is just really cool data to see. Now obviously each time you go for, say for example, like a big ass walk, right? Usually for me, I like to go for 30 to 40 minute walks. You'll see here, like nothing crazy in terms of like how fast I was going or whatever, but once again, it complements to overall calorie burn, which is great. So what you can be sending me, as I showed you just before, it's nice to be able to see that workout data as you do them, in terms of when you send across your completed workout log. If I see that as well, it's just awesome extra insight. Now, at the end of every week, so naturally when you do your Progress Sunday stats, what you're going to also be sending through to me is your 7-day view of Fitbit data. So one of these things is steps. So if you click on here at the top where it has your actual steps circle, if you click on that, it shows you your steps and how they've been looking across the whole week. So you'll see here last week, it says from, each day there. So I did 17, I did 20,000, 24, 20, 22, 16, and 26. So what you would send me is you would send me a screenshot of that, and then you would, ideally, to save me having to work it out, you tell me what your average steps was as well. So for most of you, I like to see you sit around 10 to 15,000, and we'll adjust that based on goal and how deep in a deficit you actually are at the time. But if I'm seeing this screenshot, that's absolutely awesome, and it shows that you've hit your steps for the day, and therefore it means that you're getting in a sufficient amount of NEAT, so non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and therefore it's going to complement to your actual calorie deficit. Now, if you look over here, we've got this flame icon, right? And this represents calories that have been burnt for the day. So what's awesome to see from yourself across a whole week when you send me this is it shows me basically, the calories that you're burning, right? So naturally, when we have sufficient week-on-week data of this, it's quite easy to be able to work out your rough overall calorie burn, which represents your maintenance intake of calories. So if you look there, that's 28,640, right, in terms of my overall calories burnt for the week. So if I go 28,640 divided by 7, that means my average calorie burn per day was 4,090. So therefore, really it means that I could get away in terms of, if my goal was maintenance at the moment, which it is, it means that I can pretty confidently sit between 3,500 to 4,000 to maintain my weight. And then if I wanted to shift into a deficit, for example, I'd probably just shave 20% off of that. I'd take away probably about 800, and I could start eating at about 3,200, and I'm fairly confident that I would start dropping body fat. Yeah. So when you send me this 7-day view, it allows me to see the average in your calorie burn, and therefore gauge how effectively we are having you at the moment in terms of your calorie deficit target. And then next up we have our sleep. So if you obviously click on that icon that I just showed you there, naturally what will happen is that when you send me through this data, it will display a full week of how you're going in regard to sleep. So obviously it does show a score in terms of 80 whatever, rah. So what I look at is basically where your actual average is at in terms of your sleep hours. So naturally, for all of us alphas, our goal is to get in between 7-ish or so up to 9 hours of sleep, meaning that as long as you're between 40 to 60 hours of sleep, you're doing pretty solid. All right. So you can see there, it just allows me to see the average of when you're going to bed in terms of your bedtime, roughly what time you're waking up, and then just how good the quality is of your sleep. So you can see that I did pretty well. I got 7.5, 7.8, 7 hours, 7.5, 6 hours 56, 8 hours 41, 8 hours. So right on point there, hit my sleep target pretty much. And then this week going so far, not too bad, right? So this is what we look for if you're sending me through those 3 data points. So I'd say, for example, you've taken your screenshots. What you'd then do is you'd go into Messenger, you'd go like this, you'd find me, you'd go search Angus. So you've obviously got all your other progress shit, then you go like this, boom, boom. Oh, come on, you piece of shit. Oh, there we go, that's right. So you go like this, and then you would go wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and you would, given that you send me other data, ideally you'd send across your 7-day view of MyFitnessPal as well. You'd send them, and Bob's your uncle, all right? So this is what we give a shit about. Reason being is because when it comes to Fitbit, it is a tool that we use to be able to track our heart health and to be able to get more data around how your overall body is functioning, more data around just how you're going in terms of recovery. Obviously what you can be doing as well, if you desire, is you can actually be logging your weight into the Fitbit app if you don't want to store it in MyFitnessPal. You can be doing all sorts of cool stuff in terms of how MyFitnessPal links to Fitbit, but then naturally, as long as you're supplying me the data that I need, I'm happy, all right? So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial video in terms of Fitbit Mastery. Be aware that you can get the premium version, which allows you to see all sorts of other cool shit and stuff like that. I personally don't have it because I don't really give a shit about the data that it tracks, but if you personally want it, I think it's only $40 a year, so that's not too bad. So get amongst that if you desire. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching this tutorial video. If you have any questions, just ask me. I'd suggest that if you haven't got a Fitbit yet, that you hit up Facebook Marketplace, do a search for there first to see what you can find locally. Ideally you want to get a Charge 2 or models upward. The one that I have is waterproof and does track some other cool things that the Charge 2 can't, but be aware that it's like if you get it from Marketplace, you can more often than not get a brand new one that someone got for a present that they're selling for cheap because they want some cash, as opposed to going into JB Hi-Fi and paying between $150 to $250 for a brand new model. So look on there first, maybe potentially even search on eBay before you go to JB Hi-Fi to have a search or whatever other store it is that you're going. Alright, so catch you in the rest of the site. Hope you enjoyed this video. Any questions, as I said, get in touch.